One thing for me, I hope you're ashamed of yourself. You should be. It's 70 degrees out. You have bunny hoops on.
Hello! Here is a quick sort of news update. We're going to take a look at someone getting arrested for giving the silent treatment to police while getting pulled over. We're going to also look at some false information put out by the news in my area over a wildfire and flight restrictions. And on top of that, an update with Kickstarter. Anyway, so moving on to the first little thing here. We have state police arresting a woman for refusing to answer questions in New Jersey. And it's quite interesting because you have the right to remain silent. It's part of the Fifth Amendment. And it gets even funnier after that. We're going to play a few quick highlights from this here on the thing. And all the links for these citations and sources and all that stuff are going to be in the description. So let's go ahead and start off here.
You know why you're being pulled over tonight? You not talk? Okay, I'm going to ask you one more time. You know why you're being stopped tonight?
And here's the thing. You do not have to answer their questions. You can give them the silent treatment. I mean, period, for being pulled over. It is not your duty to bear witness to yourself. Especially if it possibly is going to be self-incriminating.
Why aren't you answering me? Okay, you're going to be placed under arrest if you don't answer my question.
You know, that right there is a problem. Not answering someone's questions should not automatically make you, be an arrestable offense. Period.
Now you can't hear me? Now you can talk? Why weren't you answering my questions? Yeah. You know why you're being stopped tonight?
And there you have it. I do not have to answer your questions. She puts it right there. And yet he still... that is a very appropriate response. She doesn't have to answer his questions. In fact, she could respond with giving the middle finger. It's completely legal in that regard. She does not have to answer his questions.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
And this is where he orders her to get out of the car. Now, let's see here.
Oh, God. I'm putting your phone in your car. That's it.
Now, this is...
Oh, God.
I'm not sure what to deal with you.
Are you doing the interest?
Why didn't you answer our question?
That's it.
Are you meeting me to start this?
I have one on the instructions. Yeah.
Yeah, instructions.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting is this lady is actually an attorney, too. And we're going to skip to the more cynical part right here. Or, well, I don't really...
You have the right to remain silent, refuse to answer any questions. Anything you say is against you in the court of law. You have the right.
Yes, they read her Miranda rights right at the end, which includes you have the right to remain silent. Now, did this cop specifically think that you didn't have the right to remain silent until after you read the Miranda rights? Last time I checked, constitutional rights are in play the entire time for a stop. A person does not have the responsibility to respond or to answer any questions to an officer. If an officer asks at any point. And this is why I sort of take the silent treatment to its legal extreme of not responding, due to the fact that it will show the ignorance of people's understanding of the Fifth Amendment. Okay, now this is a very interesting quote while she was being held. Quote, I said, well, the trooper arrested me for not answering questions. Mercero told Advanced Media, and the supervisor indicated to me that was obstruction. End quote on that. At no time, not answering questions is obstruction. Period. Right there, we got false statements. At the bottom, she was never charged with obstruction or issued a summons. As a result of the stop, records show the whole ordeal lasted about 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. I probably a little bit longer than that, due to the fact that she had to wait for her car to be unimpounded. Let's see here. Masura said the butler then left to review the dashboard camera footage. After about 30 minutes, she claims he returned and told her a mistake was made and to chalk it up as training, and that Stazzoni, I think that's how you pronounce it, was just a rookie. You know, I would expect a rookie to at least have a more up-to-date knowledge on what is legal and what is not, because they're fresh out of training. Masura claims Butler then offered to get her car, which had been towed from the scene, out of impoundment for free as a favor, and apologized for the incident. You know, it shouldn't be a favor to unimpound a vehicle because you're falsely arrested. That's to be expected. If someone's going to have to pay for their vehicle being impounded when they were falsely arrested by the police, I'd say that is fairly illegal to do, because you're now depriving them of property without proper charges. So I have to say kudos to this attorney lady. She did the silent treatment. She did it well. She didn't really give them any information. She gave them exactly pretty much what was needed. And this is going to look bad in court. There is actually a case that is pending, and the state police are trying to, the lawyers are trying to get this dismissed because there was no malice or ill intent. And I would highly doubt that this is going to get thrown out because she was properly exercising her rights. They're well known. In fact, that's part of the Miranda rights itself when you read them off to someone before you're supposed to interrogate them. So, there you go. Alright, now moving on. Yesterday, on Wednesday there, we had a major wildfire pop up just 3 miles north of Wasilla, Alaska up here. And I went to go and try to get some footage. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to get close enough to get any footage or anything like that of the actual fire. And it got about to 30 acres there. They had the call-in water tankers and all that stuff. But what is the interesting part is around 4 o'clock on the texted part for the site, they made this statement around the fire. Temporary flight restrictions have been put in place around the fire. Pilots of small aircraft are being asked to avoid the area. Now, I was very suspicious because during the entire time I was keeping an eye on the fire online and stuff like that, it turns out that there was no TFRs or temporary flight restrictions put up. Now, at the 5 o'clock report for the tech site, they said the Federal Aviation has issued a NOTAM advising pilots to avoid that area because of the firefighting efforts. There was no temporary flight restriction put in place. And during the 5 o'clock report on TV, which I did not have recorded, unfortunately, because it was only mentioned at the 5 o'clock to my knowledge, was they had a temporary flight restriction, which was the one thing that keyed me off about this. Now, I'm not sure if the news agency got a false report or whatnot. Later on in the evening, I called up the TFR brief number, which will route you to the closest airport agency that keeps up to date with your region's TFRs and other flight notifications that you might need to know about. And I asked them, is there a temporary flight restriction in place? And they sat there and said, no, there wasn't. And this is the 100th call I got about that. And I will actually be playing that right at the end of this, that phone call that I had recorded.
Welcome to the Kenai Flight Service Station. For flights outside of United States controlled airspace, check data as soon as practical after entering foreign airspace, as our international data may be inaccurate or incomplete. Advise the briefer you have the international cautionary advisory. For touch-tone users, press 1 for a briefer, press 2 for the main menu of services, or press 3 for our fast file flight plan recorder. If you are using a...
Please hold while I transfer your call.
Flight Service.
Yes, I was trying to get information about the temporary flight restrictions that's in place over by Wasilla.
There isn't one.
There isn't one?
No, there never was.
Okay, I was just double checking because I heard they reported on the news. They said there was one in place.
Yeah, I heard that about 100 calls ago.
Okay.
So everybody's reporting. I went through everything, and they never issued one. And it's not a very big fire. It was about 20 acres or so. So.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
So I'm not sure who put out the false information about the temporary flight restrictions, but you know what? It's not a it's a good idea to say, hey, pilots of aircraft, please stay away from the area. I completely understand. But when you sit there and say, oh, there's a temporary flight restriction in place when there isn't one, now people are going to be looking for information about that to figure out, okay, where is it exactly at so I don't fly into it on accident, because flying into a TFR is a serious offense with the FAA, whether you're a drone pilot or a small aircraft pilot. Those things are important to need to know and understand. So, all right. Now, I have been working on a Kickstarter page for a while now. I'm probably about 40% done with it. I still got to hammer out more of the drafting phase. This is actually a preview of what the Kickstarter looks like right now. I still got to take some pictures and make a video for it and get some more stuff shoved in here, art assets. But this is pretty much the general look of things. I'm going to actually have a preview link in the description so you can look at it yourself. And if you want, there will be a thing at the top where you can post feedback and give me what you think about it so far. And it gives the risks and challenges, a little bit about me. I got the initial itinerary put down. I still got to put in for a couple... how should I put it? Stretch goals if this gets funded, because I have a few extra ideas I think people will be interested in me doing and covering. So, and that pretty much involves me going over to Florida and meeting up with the PINAC people and all those that are clustered over there as one of the goals. And probably I'm going to add in, I was just originally going to be doing 2. I might add in a third one where I might go all the way over to New Jersey to give New Jersey cops the silent treatment. Especially after that one video. But, of course, this is if we can get the initial funding, about $10,000 to fund me at least getting down to Texas. At the same time, there's going to be a stop. Well, when I travel, there's going to be at least one stop in Los Angeles where I will be... meeting up with a lot of the Los Angeles civil rights activists who have been pretty busy, and quite a few that have just started up more recently. So this is pretty much what the site looks like right now. It's still a draft. There still needs to be a lot more work done with it. I still got to shoot a video and work on art assets, and I got to talk with a few other activists who might be willing to help out with this project for getting some additional footage. So that's pretty much what we got going on with it. And I'm going to go ahead and leave off with this. I will try to get some more video work done, and I might do another live stream. I have recorded myself signing up for the drone registration with the FAA. I'm going to put that out at some point. It just requires a decent amount of editing because it's got private information on it. Obviously, I don't need to be putting out on the internet, and credit card details, so yeah. And editing those kinds of things out takes time. So I'll leave it at that. You guys have a good day. Or night, depending on when you watch.